Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day all there, participants of ICEBIT 2020. I am Arniza Ghazali, lecturer of Universiti Sains Malaysia. And let me introduce Dr. Alwani from Universiti Malaya, an expert on dialogue. Without further ado, allow us to share the findings on a study entitled Analysis of Learning Through Mapping Activities that eyes on the influence of dialogue. As the flow normally goes, the presentation will cover these topics with methodology being described before the objectives. Let me first describe MAP. This is an example of MAP. Maps are built upon keywords and breeding ideas, and they are read radially, unlike normal linear text. The elements in maps provide powerful visualization tool, and they are also powerful learning tool that helps recognize level of importance, link between other areas of knowledge, and a good knowledge management tool. In fact, there are many benefits of mapping activities for map construction especially, and more descriptions on the benefits of map and mapping activities are presented in earlier subtle research findings published in these references that you can find online. Having said that, let us now look at one of the manifestation of understanding. Previous study on map construction demonstrated that maps are the externalization of cognitive function, and study in my subtle classroom shows great correlation between map completeness and students' mastery of the subject. And this is what meant by map as the externalization of cognitive function, the term used by neuroscientists, those experts studying about the brain. Dialogue, on the other hand, is another powerful tool. It is becoming the lonely world, while Malaysians are generally comfortable engaging in harmonious, cumulative talk in order to avoid disputes that oftentimes lead to monologue. Dialogues are increasingly being reported as essential for 21st century learning. Reason being, dialogues are powerful in allowing students to express their ideas and solidify them with reasoning, training them to listen, accept, or refute ideas objectively and respectfully. So it turned out that year enrollment was small, and it was possible to entertain students in a class of 14, including one special one with attention deficit issue. If we call the candidate J, J was the major concern because it means that the class could not go as usual. Besides J, it was also bizarre to find that 60% of the students were unable to take good notes. And as the situation has always been, problem with aptitude in English language. So it was a sort of opportunity, scholarship of teaching and learning. The student should then talk, and the student would then have to step up and draw things on the whiteboard. The principles of SOTL or Scholarship of Teaching and Learning was applied in that the students' learning was charted before and after intervention. Cyclical reflections was performed to design approaches that suit the learners. For the mentioned learning issues, students were made to talk, draw, and explain their drawings or maps. Some conversations, and behavioral changes were also captured in order to understand what was happening to the learners as they learn, as interventions were introduced. So it was possible to perform intensive mapping activities in classroom talk because of these factors. First is that the classroom was small and the flock was very, very cooperative. So having said that, I must say that J has transformed. J as the main principal concern of the class. So the main objective of this study is to screen for the criteria of dialogue and evidences to superb learning that happened or that has transformed J from a fidget to a committed learner. So in this brief presentation, allow me to state that the analysis shows that the classroom fall in the category of cumulative thought. Students were receptive of new ideas and could switch their ideas to justify their acceptance of other new ideas. Sessions were also in-depth, triggered by questions from peers and cooperative from the super learners who cross-checked ideas with literature. They were also aware of the need to clarify rather than assuming that the literature was right. So it was also an exploratory talk or constructive criticism as presented by Luby in 2018. So having said that, the impressive learning energy is also manifested in the map that the 14 students were able to construct, with Jay coordinating the session, instructing others to volunteer to step up and contribute their ideas. They were also able to correct each other's ideas, and as a result, the map they drew were 100 times more elaborate than the ones laid in previous years. These are the new map constructed by the batch of students. So the map, in other words, has expanded a lot. Of course, reorganization and a little refinement was made as answer schemes, and they appear like this. Flashing back on classes, it appeared that taking the non-front and center position was important in order to encourage dialogue. For instance, teacher as the instructor should position herself here or here at the back of the class and allow enough space for the dialogue star to interact with the class. Remember that we are only the reference point in this case, and students are to orchestrate the show. Among other findings that I must mention is that planning and preparation. Of course, there was no time to practice, but there should be enough time for a teacher to ensure plan B is the backup of plan A, just in case things go different. Bottom line is plan to design students' learning to make sure that we really maximize the time allocated 30 minutes or 1 hour, 2 hours for them really is a learning time for them. Other than time investment by us, the study points again to the completeness of map as manifestation of subject mastery. The once featured in the class has transformed to a dialogue star, taking charge of learning, orchestrating the class. All this was impossible without dialogue. I must say, uh, the learners of that academic year was superb and teaching was a joy. Having said that, last but not least, I'm grateful for the funding by High Touch Academy. Teaching 14 students was a great joy, and seeing transformation is a push to today's sharing. With that, I thank you for all of you for watching to this point. From Dr. Arwani and me, stay safe and take care. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.